Imagine trusting two people with everything you have, your heart, your home, your whole life, and then discovering they had chosen each other. That is not a headline. That is a wound that never fully closes. And it happened to one of the most successful women in music history. Shania Twain had already survived more than most people could bear before she ever became famous. She grew up in poverty. At 22 years old, she lost both her parents in a car accident. She raised her younger siblings herself, singing in bars to keep food on the table. By the time she met music producer Robert Mutt Lange in 1993, she already knew what survival looked like. 6 months after they met, they were married. And for the next 15 years, Mutt was everything: her husband, her producer, the man who shaped every note of her music and every corner of her life. They had a son. They built a home in Switzerland, far from the noise of the industry. They seemed, from the outside, completely untouchable. But here is what almost nobody knows. When Shania finally spoke about what destroyed her marriage, the detail that stopped everyone cold was not about him. It was about someone else entirely. Someone she had trusted just as deeply. And what she revealed in her memoir, one quiet, devastating sentence, changes the whole shape of this story. I will get to that. But first, you need to understand what she was actually living inside that marriage. Shania had sold over 100 million albums. She was one of the best-selling female artists in history. She had the fame, the money, the leverage to set any terms she wanted. And she chose not to. She moved to Switzerland. She let Mutt control her creative output, her schedule, her public image. She made herself the flexible one, because she believed in the partnership. When you truly trust someone, you don't keep score. You give. She gave everything. And through all of it, there was one person she could talk to. One woman she trusted with the things she couldn't say to anyone else. Her name was Marianne Thibault. She was Mutt's assistant. Shania called her her best friend. But here is where the timeline starts to tell a very different story. In the summer of 2008, Mutt told Shania he wanted a divorce.
No explanation.
No reason given. Just, he was done. After 15 years, he was walking away, and he would not say why. Shania was devastated. And the person she turned to, the person she called crying, trying to make sense of what was happening, was Marianne. Her best friend told her she had no idea why Mutt would want to leave. She said Shania should just be patient. She said everything looked fine to her. Marianne was lying. Because she was the reason Mutt wanted out. The two of them had been having an affair for months. Shania did not find out from Mutt. She did not find out from Marianne. She found out from a man named Frederick Thibault, Marianne's husband. He had found the hotel receipts, the phone records, and then one day, a lingerie set in her suitcase. Expensive. New. Not bought for him. That was the moment everything became real. Not suspicion, not doubt, but proof. The kind you can never unknow. When Frederick confronted them, Mutt and Marianne refused to tell Shania. They wanted the divorce to happen quietly, without her ever learning the real reason. So a man she barely knew had to be the one to say the words. Your husband is leaving you for your best friend. And that is hard enough to hear. But it is honestly not the part that stayed with me most. Because when Shania found out, she did not want to believe it. So she called Marianne. She gave her one last chance to tell the truth. And Marianne lied to her face one more time. Then, within days, she changed her phone number so Shania could never reach her again. That is the part that destroys you. Not the affair. The lie. The fact that the woman who had listened to her cry, who had pretended to comfort her, had been deceiving her the entire time. If you have ever been betrayed by someone you trusted that deeply, you know exactly what it feels like to replay every conversation, every moment you opened your heart, and realize the person you thought you knew never really existed at all. Shania Twain is known, by everyone who has worked with her, as one of the most loyal people in the industry. On tour, she remembers crew members' names. She shows up early. She treats everyone with dignity. She brought that same loyalty home, and she spent it freely on two people who did not protect it. She had made herself the steady ground beneath a man who eventually walked away. And that quiet kind of woman, the one who holds everything together and makes it look effortless, she is so often the last to be protected. Now here is the sentence from her memoir that I promised you. The one that stopped me cold. Years later, after she had rebuilt her life, Shania wrote something about Marie and that I think captures exactly what this betrayal actually was. She said she was disgusted that another woman's lust for a lifestyle upgrade was worth the devastation of a family. A lifestyle upgrade. Not love. Not passion. Not even a mistake made in a moment of weakness. A lifestyle upgrade. Marie-Anne had looked at Shania's life, the Swiss estate, the career, the access to wealth and fame that came with being married to one of the world's most powerful producers, and she had decided she wanted it for herself. She did not just take Mutt. She took the life Shania had built. And so, at 43 years old, with everything she had survived, Shania Twain stopped trying to understand why the two people she loved most had destroyed her. What she did next was not revenge. She did not write a tell-all that named every detail. She did not go on television to damage their reputations. She protected her son the way she always had. And she walked forward with her head exactly where it had always been, held high. But the story does not end in loss. Because the man who had told her the truth when no one else would, Frederick Thibault, the man who had been betrayed just as completely, was still there. The two people who had been left behind found each other. And on January 1st, 2011, Shania Twain married him. The man who had chosen honesty when it would have been so much easier to stay silent. There is something quietly magnificent about the moment a woman finally decides she is worth more than the people who threw her away. Shania held on for 15 years. And then, with the same quiet dignity she had shown through all of it, she let go. She did not let the betrayal define her. She rebuilt. And I think that, more than any album she ever made, is the bravest thing she has ever done.